afternoon. Welcome to the world news on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. I am Oluwafisayomi Ajibola. Here are the top stories. Federal government threatened to sanctions airing carbon traders. Primary health care agencies reveals over 180,000 children lack access to immunization in Southwest. In business, federal government solicits stakeholders funding support for MSMEs. In sport, Cycling Federation canvasses support for Nigerian cycling team ahead of the 2023 World Championship. Details shortly. Welcome back. Now the news in detail. The federal government on Wednesday warned carbon emission reduction traders who were trading without recourse to designated authority to desist from such activity. The Apex government warning came at the validation workshop for the assessment of carbon pricing initiative in Nigeria, as it explained the country had released an initial regulatory guidance which emphasized the need for a carbon trading scheme. Speaking at the workshop, the Director General National Council on Climate Change (NCCC), Salisu Dairu, revealed that the regulatory guidance will be tailored towards the government's priority and would align with Nigeria's nationally determined contributions on carbon emission, hence should be altered. Dairu called for concentrated and collective efforts to ensure that Nigeria was fully positioned to take advantage of the opportunities in climate change mitigation and adaptation. Government at the federal level has said that 14 states and 31 communities may witness heavy rainfall that could lead to flooding from January 4th to 8th. Lagos Territorial Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ibrahim Farindoye, who disclosed this in statement on Wednesday, urged relevant stakeholders within the state to take precautionary measures to forestall loss of lives and property. NEMA had earlier warned of massive flooding across Nigeria, calling for action to be taken early to mitigate the impact on the country. The Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency (NIHSA) had also said 178 local government areas in the 32 states and the FCT would experience severe flooding this year 2023. In a related development, the Senate on Wednesday urged the federal government of water resources to revisit the proposed construction of Dasi Huda Dam as well as other dams to take in the floodwaters from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. The Senate resolution was sequel to the adoption of a motion on an urgent need to intervene in the flooding issues in Shagamu, Ijebu area of Ogun State, and other parts of the country, sponsored by Senator Benga Daniel Ogun East and Senator Umar Sadiq Sulaiman Kwaranau at the plenary on Tuesday. The Senate expressed concern that all over Nigeria, downpours have resulted in destruction and death of residents of the land and mainland in Lagos State were displaced, and business owners and residents were also displaced in Uyo and Akwa Ibom. According to Daniel, Ogun and Kwara State in particular would witness coastal flooding due to the tidal lock of the Ogun River by Lagos Lagoon from a natural rise in the sea level, coupled with the possible release of excessive water from the Onyo Dam. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency (NPHCDA) has disclosed that a total of 189,308 children in Southwest lack routine immunization from January to June 2023. The federal government-owned agency also pointed out that immunization, particularly the eradication of all forms of vaccine preventable diseases, remain its top priority. The Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Dr. Faisal Shoaib, stated this at the opening of the first quarter 2023 review meeting of the Southwest Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Health Care Delivery held in Akure, Ondo State Capital. According to Shoaib, Lagos has the highest count with 79,279 zero-dose children, followed by Oyo State with 53,812 children, Ondo State with 30,280 children. Speaking further, he said Osun has 19,737 unimmunized children, and Ogun has 3,204 children, while Ekiti has 2,998 children who have never received any form of vaccination efforts. The Lagos State government on Wednesday read the Riot Act to street traders in the state, especially on the 3rd Mainland Bridge and Eko Bridge. The Permanent Secretary Office of the Environmental Service, Ajibola, in a release statement, declared zero tolerance for street trading in the areas. Omobolaji stressed that the action was in line with the themes agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to promote a cleaner and more aesthetic environment, ensure total enforcement of the environmental sanitation laws, and create a safer state for all. The Mobolaji-led team warned that anyone apprehended will be made to face prosecution at the established mobile court in line with the state environmental laws, in addition to having wares they hawk and display on major roads confiscated. Nigerian Associations of Resident Doctors (NARD) has issued a fresh notice to the federal government to meet its demand within 2 weeks or risk industrial disharmony in the health sector. The association disclosed this in a communique issued on Wednesday after its virtual extraordinary National Executive Council meeting. According to the communique, the meeting was held to appraise the level of implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed with the federal government on May 19, following the 5-day warning strike embarked upon by the association on May 17. The resident doctor said it has been 7 weeks since the end of the 5-day warning strike embarked upon by the association to press home its demand. Yet, the resolutions of the conciliatory meeting shared by former Minister of Labour and Employment had not been implemented. The association, however, called for the immediate payment of all outstanding arrears owing its members, including the hazard allowance and skipping arrears of 2014 to 2026, 2014 to 2016, as well as the arrears of consequential adjustment of minimum wage. You are listening to the world news on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Still to come after this break, business and sport. Do stay with us. In business, the federal government has opened the door of partnership with stakeholders to provide the needed support for the survival of over 39.6 million micro, small, and medium enterprises spread across the country. SMEDA Director General Oluwafisayomi disclosed it at an event organized by the agency to mark the United States World MSMEs Days in Abuja. According to it, the move is expected to reposition the nation's MSMEs to become major employers of labor, wealth creators capable of full participation in current global competition. Fasoya disclosed that the Apex government is already partnering with several commercial banks, as well as the Nigerian Incentive Risk-Based Agriculture Lending (NISA), on measures that will reduce challenges associated with accessing fund windows critical of business growth. In sports, the Cycling Federation of Nigeria (CFN) has urged governments and corporate bodies to support the national team as it begins preparation for the World Cycling Championship slated to hold in Glasgow, Scotland from August 3rd to August 13th. The member of the CFN board, Femi Thomas, an ex-cyclist, said the country's cyclists were already in camp in Abuja perfecting strategies for the championship. He, however, revealed that they need total support from the government as well as various organizations to excel at the international events. On the future of cycling in Nigeria, Thomas said that corporate bodies and the federal government need to work in tandem to take the sport to greater heights in the country. Speaking further, Thomas also hinted that plans are on to organize a cycling tournament to celebrate the 100 days in office of President Bola Tinubu, disclosing that the championship will highlight the numerous achievements of the president in sport when he was a governor of Lagos State. That was the world news. To end the news, A quick recap of the major headlines. Federal government threatened to sanction herring carbon traders. Primary health care agencies review over 180,000 children lack access to immunization in Southwest. And in business, we did tell you that the federal government has solicited stakeholders funding support for MSMEs. And in sport, cycling federations canvasses support for Nigerian cycling team ahead of 2023 World Championship. The world news was edited by Abidat Taurid. For more news and updates, you can follow us on all our social media platforms, or you log on to www.Al-IyamoyeTvradio.com. I am Oluwafisayomi Ajibola. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for listening and watching us.